All right. Ready to do this, gentlemen?
What are we doing?
Born ready.
Greatest movies of all time. We play games.
That's right. We talk movies and play games.
We're ready. Let's go to the bets. Welcome. That's all we do.
Movies.
Yes.
Podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to the Greatest Movies of All Time podcast. My name is Jesse, and this week we will be talking about Wet Hot American Summer. This episode is a doozy, guys. Typically, the episode starts off, it's myself, it's the rest of the crew, the anointed ones, doing a little pre-show banter. We're going over the email address, we're going over the social media links, and just getting caught up. But, we talked a lot. This was a long night when we recorded it. Myself and Gabriel brought a handful of movies to the previously viewed other things we've been watching section of the podcast that starts us off. We talk at length about Wet Hot American Summer, and then we play a game that is just as long, if not longer, than the rest of the podcast itself. So I wanted to trim out a few of the extra pieces to just move this thing along, and that's why I'm popping in here at the beginning. Gabriel is on the episode, JB's on the episode, and we even have a guest appearance by Lee in our game, helping as our game moderator. So a lot of cool things to look forward to as well. Speaking of the game, it is a riot. It is fun. It's something we've never done before. We're dabbling in some acting and role playing, so I would definitely check out the second half of the podcast when we get there. And we're just going to jump right into it. I might pop in a little bit to introduce our movie of the week. But before that, this is just myself, JB, and Gabriel talking about some things we've been watching lately that we don't consider one of the greats, but just kind of what's occupying our viewing schedule. So I'll let the gang step in there and see you guys in a little bit.
JB, what'd you watch this week?
There's dinner for schmucks.
Is this tell us, Steve, who's in this movie?
Steve Carroll.
Steve Carroll. Yeah, nice.
Steve Carroll and Zach Galifianakis. It's a great movie. Makes me feel similar ways to Wet Hot American Summer. I was thinking, you know what? What's another dumb comedy that a lot of people don't like historically, but maybe they've warmed up to? Which I think Wet Hot American Summer, people have, had the time to sit on it and think about it. And we're just waiting a couple more years for Dinner for Schmucks to really, blossom in terms of a cult following. So I figured I'd get ahead of the curve.
I like that. But we could talk more about Dinner for Schmucks. I've never seen Dinner for Schmucks or with Schmucks.
It's for Schmucks.
For Schmucks.
Yeah,
it's definitely for Schmucks.
Was this your first viewing?
This was not my first viewing. This is probably like my fifth.
Oh wow!
I'm a fan of terrible comedy. I think there's an art to it.
You're a schmuckite.
I'm a schmuckite.
That's what they call the fans of Dinner for Schmucks. It's schmuckites.
With a name like Schmuckite, it's bound to suck.
So it's a movie we're seeing, I gather, but you don't think it's in the it's not, we're not at the point where it's a conversation for a great.
Yeah, so it's not quite an OTW, which if you've been listening to other episodes, it's definitely just the term I made up for a one-time watch.
I'll be honest, it took me like 2 episodes to figure out what that term meant, but go on.
That's okay. I'm glad you're being honest. It'd be weird if you were lying.
We're about integrity on the show, that's why.
We're about integrity. Mm-hmm. That's right, Patreon.
Well,
transparency.
There is the Integrity Patreon peer as well, but you have to check out our Patreon to see what that's all about.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So onward. It's something you can watch more than once. If you just need to get your mind off of like, you just need to like flush your mind. It's a good detox. It's a good detox movie.
If you need to get away
giggling and laughing
from the world around you.
Yeah.
You're recommending Dinner for Schmucks.
Sounds like a little judgment, but yeah.
No judgment here.
Listen, I can't judge. I've never seen it. I just haven't been compelled to watch it. Because doesn't Zach Galifianakis have that kind of weird bowl cut haircut in it? Or no?
Yes, he does.
Right? No.
Wait,
No, that's a different one.
It's Steve Carell and
Steve Carell has the awkward haircut. Yeah.
Okay, but I'm thinking, oh, you know what? What's that?
Mastermind.
Masterminds or what? Mastermind Zach has that weird haircut, which I avoided it simply on haircut alone.
That one, that one's a dumb watch.
Pudding plays a central role in Dinner for Schmucks, so any movie that can really put Pudding center stage is good in my book.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good movie. It made me laugh. Paul Rudd was in it, so that was another inspiration to watch it.
Connection to today's movie, so that's good.
Yeah, he's ageless. He looks older in Dinner for Schmucks.
I believe it.
He's a Benjamin Button. He's aging in reverse.
I mean, I guess people listening would realize the movie was made after the fact, but let's ignore that.
Sure, true that.
Nice save, JP.
All right.
So yeah, I took a different route this week. I went and revisited It and It 2, not the original TV miniseries starring one Tim Curry, but the 2017 film.
Oh, so It and Chapter 2 or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched both of them, so I'm going to put them both together here and just for those uninitiated, this is it's a horror film based on Stephen King novel. It's about a group of bullied kids and this shape-shifting demon who often appears as a murderous clown. The first film, I think, is actually a better film than It 2. I think the kids are far more, it's believable and realistic, and it feels more, I guess the stakes feel higher with the kids in the first film, and then their adult counterparts in the second film. Just some of the gravity is just gone. But they are a fun watch. If it's a rainy day and you want to do a horror marathon, and sit through about 5 hours worth of film, check out It and It 2.
How do you think they compare to the originals a little more,
So other than Tim Curry, I'm going to say that the films collectively, I think they're better, despite my nostalgia for the original miniseries. I think that the films are a better version of this tale than the miniseries itself. So,
yeah, what I was going to say, I've heard really positive things about the first It, and I was always curious to see it. Upon hearing that, and then heard the similar thing, the Chapter 2, though not bad, just sort of loses some of the things that made the first one so great.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think they both really work. I think they are good. Do I think they're one of the greats? When I think about the horror films I have consumed in my lifetime, I would not hold these two films up to what I believe to be the great. Jesse, what did you watch this week?
All right, so I'm gonna not this not again. I'm gonna shake it up just a little bit. Lovebirds was mentioned previously. I think JB, you watched it. Was that correct, or is that Gabriel?
Yeah.
No, JB watched it and brought it up.
You've seen it.
Gabriel watched it. Yeah.
And Michael Showalter directed.
That's right.
It was there. Finished Wet Hot American Summer. I'm like, let me see a little more Showalter. Right? Showalter.
Full circle here.
Lovebirds is right there on Netflix. Listen, it was like I got 10 minutes in and I was like, yeah. I got to about the part that you see in the trailer where they hit the guy in the car. And I was like, all right, I don't want to watch this. And I bailed. I really liked the first few minutes. I'm sure it kind of got better and kept going, but I couldn't stick with it. And I was like, I got more important things to watch. So I bailed on Lovebirds, unfortunately. I didn't hate it. I could see that it was going to be good, but it's also, I didn't want to spend my evening watching it.
I could see that. I think it's a fun watch. I don't think it's a necessary watch.
I really like the couple banter. I really like the couple kind of realizing that the relationship was at the end there at the very beginning of the movie. I don't know what happens after that. And then when it kind of turned into a little bit of the slapstick kind of silliness about what do we do now, I bailed. So then, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just jumping off because I'm bringing up a couple things today. Crazy enough. Then I watched this other film,
Slow down.
which we're not going to talk about because at some point this is going to be this is either going to be a discussion film or I'm going to have to champion it or something. I'm going to have to win some bets to get it pushed in as a champion film, or just one day we're going to watch this. I watched this Japanese film called One Cut of the Dead. Here's all I'm going to say about it. And the more blind you go into this film, the better. It is a zombie film / not a zombie film. It's Japanese. It came out in about 2017. It is hands down, and this is not hyperbole, the most enjoyable experience I've had watching a film all year thus far.
Okay.
Came off loving this film. All I'll say on this is the unfortunate part of this. I went to a film festival called the Gasparilla Film Festival. I go every year, and I get like the weekend pass, and I see a bunch of films. I walked in at like the 10 o'clock showing for One Cut of the Dead. It was on, because you have to kind of bounce around on these film festivals. It was on the screen, and it's this sort of handheld zombie Japanese film in a warehouse, and I'm watching it for about 5 or 10 minutes, just standing there in the side aisle, like, you walk into the theater. And I was like, yeah, I've heard good things, but I've seen this type of movie before. Let's go get some food. And I bailed.
Are we talking regret here?
Huge regret. Then quickly, the real movie I saw that wasn't a great. We're going crazy.
Trifecta. You're going for a hat trick here.
Whoa, dude, do the whole episode.
I know. And good night, guys. A film starring Kurt Russell called Breakdown from like 1997. His car breaks down in the on the side of the road in the middle of the highway, and just crazy antics get involved in trying to get home, and these people happen. It's a fun movie. It's a fun little like action movie. Kurt Russell does no wrong typically. From the late 90s. I've seen it multiple times. It was on TV.
Yeah, I was gonna say I vividly remember the movie poster for this, and ultimately what was the VHS and maybe DVD rental box. I think in '97 they were still releasing them both formats.
Yeah, I saw this in '97 in like my local dollar movie theater, and just really liked it. And it's a fun little watch of just tension and suspense, a little thriller.
I'm pretty sure I saw this when it came out.
It's possible,
but I definitely know I have not revisited it, so maybe I will do that.
Be proud of who you are. Huh? Jean?
It isn't about the girl, Coop.
It isn't?
Well, it is. But see if you can follow me here. It isn't.
Oh. So it is, and it isn't.
You are ready to be taught the new way.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Okay, and with that little introduction, it's time to move towards Wet Hot American Summer and our discussion as to whether it's one of the greats or not. Wet Hot American Summer came out in 2001, was directed by David Wayne, who was a member of The State, a short-lived MTV sketch comedy show from the late 90s that after that cancellation and a failed attempt to move it over to CBS, they came out with Wet Hot American Summer with a lot of the cast from The State returning, as well as some additional actors, folks like Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, Janine Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, just to name a few, Elizabeth Banks. It's we could just talk about, and we do, all the actors and familiar faces in this film that makes it almost an instant watch for anybody who hasn't seen it before. But if you haven't seen it, it is a spoof, or not even a spoof. It is a satirical take on the sort of summer camp movie genre of films. It's absurd in its every nature, and part of our discussion, Gabriel brings up some reviews from the time that clearly miss the point of the film, and it's hard to just kind of describe without it just sounding bonkers and off the wall. And with that, it's time to talk Wet Hot American Summer. We start off our conversations sharing our history with this film, given that it is nearly 20 years old at this point, and how each of us, myself, Gabriel, and JB, all came upon this film at different times in our lives. Enjoy.
But I do think it might be interesting before we jump there, kind of our feelings on it, to see where this film falls for each of us. Because I know for me, I know it's popular to say for people of my age that, it's not that I didn't love The State. I watched The State, but it was a different era. I wasn't on watching MTV all the time, and it wasn't VOD, or video on demand or TiVo that I could record it. I caught The State when I could, but The State really wasn't on all that long, a couple years on MTV. And you caught it here and there, and it was funny. So I was aware of The State, and I liked them. And then when this film came out years later, I think even then The State was kind of a lingering memory for a lot of people.
The State had gone away.
Yeah. And I remember picking this up at like the local, being excited for it because, remember those MTV guys that did The State, the kind of silly Kids in the Hall type show? They did a movie. And I remember for a while in the early 2000s renting the DVD or VHS, had to be DVD. And just really liking this movie because it was so silly and absurd and over the top.
Yeah, so for me, I think I came into this, I was aware of The State. I don't think I knew this film was coming out, but I just happened to...
Yeah, it's a different era. Unless you were really on State fan sites, you weren't kind of tracking what was happening.
Yeah, because I think The State ended in 94, 95. I think it premiered in 93. But I had friends who were kind of into the same genre, of comedy, this absurdist sketch comedy, right? Mm-hmm. And I got put onto this by those folks and watched it with someone. Then it just became this thing for me, right? And from that point forward, it was okay, all things David Wayne, mm-hmm. all things Michael Ian Black,
Michael Ian Black definitely for me.
All things tied. I've seen him live a handful of times, do stand up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's kind of where I came into this. So I was there early on, but it is a film that I've revisited, and then subsequently, the two Netflix pieces that have been made since. So. Yeah, that's kind of where I come in.
Yeah, it's definitely a film for me too. It's just something you have friends around, you're hanging out, sitting at your apartment or wherever you live at the time, and you're like, well, let's watch Wet Hot American Summer. I have the DVD, or somebody has the DVD of it, and it was just that kind of film you pop in to see. JB, how about you? What's your Wet Hot American Summer story? What's your history?
Which one? No. Whoa. Hey, watch out, Patreon. Wet Hot American Summer. It was a really good movie. I think the way that Jesse described it, you watch with your buddies, is very fitting. I think it is one of those movies that you just use to pass the time. It's also a good, similar to the not great movie I watched earlier. It's a good detox film. If you just need to get your mind off things and laugh, it's full of moments that catch you either by surprise or make you laugh, or both.
Do you have a history with this, or was this when were you first exposed to Wet Hot American Summer?
It's a formative film for many careers of actors and people that I find funny today. Paul Rudd being prominently one of them, Elizabeth Banks, H. John Benjamin, Joe Latruglio, to name a few. And so when you look at the cast list and you're like, oh, wow, you put them all in the same movie because you didn't know they were that good. What was this movie?
Mhm.
So it always piqued my curiosity as soon as I found out a bit. To answer your question, I think I was maybe 20. So I was in college,
Mhm.
which is like fitting.
Yeah, it is.
It's very much a sort of like college level humor, introductory lesson to college humor.
Yeah.
Not the brand, but just, the age.
I was a big Upright Citizens Brigade fan. And to see Amy Poehler in this, and this is, this is not like Saturday Night Live, Parks and Rec. Yeah. This is like, oh, that person from Upright's in here. And Upright, unlike The State, Upright was something like Upright, Strangers with Candy, that era of sort of Comedy Central shows were things I was a diehard fan of. And then to see her kind of merging with this State world was very, very intriguing. And it's funny, even some of my initial responses to the film was, though Janine Garofalo sort of like was, dancing in this scene of movies, I always felt at the time like, oh, Janine Garofalo. Molly Shannon I didn't put much on, but like Janine Garofalo and David Hyde Pierce, like who put their Frasier in my absurdist comedy?
I feel like there's so much we could get into talking about the cast and our feelings about these people and their trajectory since, right?
Yeah. But that's it. Yeah. But that's the interesting point, like kind of seeing JB's point, our point, like we were kind of looking at different people for different reasons at this film. But but I think kind of now it's many years later for all of us. And kind of where's this film today in the hall of greats or not greats. So let's just see where we stand. Let's put our votes in. I'm going to write it just so we see.
I have a pre-written vote.
I just wrote mine.
Using write-in ballot, right? COVID, you gotta vote early, vote often, or at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, early.
I use the wide tip Sharpies.
They only sent me the fine tip ones for the sponsorship, but
the felt.
Yeah, but I'm down.
Yeah. I mean, those are great on canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Sharpie.
Thanks, Sharpie. All right, so let's see what we got. I was back and forth on this one, guys.
Like 1, 2, 3.
All right, let's see.
I've got a great.
I got a great as well. What is JB?
Great.
All right, 3 greats.
Oh, the trifecta.
All right. So we can at least know we're not going to be stomping anybody's feelings today. Everybody's going to be nice, socially distanced hugs and high fives for this one.
Lots of high fives and kid and play like feet kicks.
The feet kicks always. So
the spins.
So Wet Hot American Summer,
TikTok.
One of the greats.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be honest.
One of the greats.
The first chunk of this, in this film, I was watching it, and I hadn't seen it in a little while. I had seen the Netflix ones recently, obviously, because they're more recent.
Sure.
I really like the Netflix shows. 10 years.
It's so good because there's the one that's like first day of camp, and they're all so much older, and like Showalter,
he's changed.
Showalter and Taylor, like come on, Coop day 1 of camp versus Coop end of camp. Coop went on some kind of like mad fitness run, and really reshaped himself.
That's Benjamin Button.
But coming into Wet Hot again and seeing it so many times and watching it and trying to really put the anointed goggles on to make sure, because that's a heavy responsibility. I get it.
That's tough.
And I know the forms we have to fill out once something gets put as a grade and all the stuff.
Yeah, it's red tape paperwork.
But listen, so it has to be worth it. So I knew all that was on the line here. And though there's definitely parts I like at the beginning, it was the first 30 minutes, I was like, is this just like a nostalgia trip? Am I just here because of the history with this? And I love that. And so the first half of this, I was riding the not great train for a while.
Oh, I'm going to go ahead and challenge that just flat out.
I'm happy to say I came on the right side at the end, but initially I was,
I was in from the opening credits.
the bonfire dance?
Yes. the bonfire, like the guitar circle where it's clearly an electric, and this dude's just wailing on an acoustic, right?
Yeah.
I'm in from the jump, right? And within the first 5-10 minutes, just there's so many absurd scenes that happen. It is one of the best absurdist comedies I think that's been made in the last 25 years.
No, I think, yeah. I mean, I think that was my conclusion of the win. I think it definitely hits its mark over and over again. Like it's in the fact that they're making fun of so many tropes in these films, but at the same time, they're even doing this sort of uniquely Showalter, David Wayne, Michael Ian Black humor. I mean, it's the part when I think it's him and it's Coop, Michael Showalter, and I think Katie is her name. They're sitting there and they're talking, and he's running. It's almost like a future Stella skit where he is with Stella, which is what Wayne and Showalter and Michael Ian Black did later. Yeah. Where he's just it's random train of thought where he's saying various things. He's giving names, and then he's like, oh, then there's the Human League, and then he slips into bands, and then he slips into United Nations, and then he slips into countries. Yes. And just that kind of humor that's laced throughout this film. That's a little bit when I started getting back. I'm like, yeah, this is great. But that to me, just that's what this kind of movie is. If you don't get that joke and see you there, I think that's what divides the people who get it and don't get it. Like, what the hell is he talking about?
The very opening scene, right, where all the campers are scrambling from the bunks where they're shacking up with either the boys or the girls. They're all running out first thing in the morning.
Yeah, all the little boys and Jingo Afro sitting there like, no running, get back in your bunks.
They're just like drinking their coffee.
Yeah.
The super just disgustingly sloppy open tongue kissing, face eating.
That's out the film. Yeah.
With Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's Andy character and Katie played incredibly by Marguerite Moreau. Like she plays a very straight character to a lot of these very absurd characters around her. Every line Ken Marino says in this film, from the very first to the very last, like that character is, I think, one of the underappreciated characters in the film. Victor.
Yeah, it's Victor. No, I think he really stands out. But he was also back in the State days. He had like the memorable "I'm going to dip my balls in it" line that stuck with the State forever. But I think even here, he just with his perm, his super cut off short shorts. I think everything about him is hilarious in this.
I mean, people who've been with us since our previous podcast, they know about our love of Ken Marino from our review of Bad Milo.
Oh, Bad Milo.
Bad Milo.
Nothing on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Christopher Maloney, right? Christopher Maloney is outstanding.
No,
as the Vietnam vet Cook Gene.
So good.
80 Miles, who ended up being like he's like head writer for the Jimmy Fallon show now, right? And he's done other things. That he did Man Bites Dog with Zach Galifianakis and Matt Walsh from Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah,
the one season show on Comedy Central that is outstanding. But he's like his foil to the Christopher Maloney character, right? It's that relationship is just it's perfectly played. I can't say enough about how much I love the cast in this film and the way they play these characters and the way those characters all mesh together into this just absurd reality, right?
Yeah, no, they mesh. It's yeah. JB, thoughts? What made it a great?
The nuanced jokes of not only summer camp, but Jewish summer camp particularly.
Yeah.
I never attended, but I did watch it with one of my close friends who is quite Jewish. I would take the ish out of it if I could.
Okay. Right.
And there's this scene in the lunchroom where Janine Garofalo just listing Jewish names. And at one point he just cracks up because he's like, that was the first president of Israel that she just named.
Oh,
I'm like, what?
Okay.
That's such a deep joke. That's so nuanced. And I liked the beekeeper, just the shot of him
the kid that
talking
that
to the radio.
Never bathed like the entire like month that they've been at camp or whatever.
But he's also obsessed with this radio, and there's just this shot that exposes the truth.
Yeah,
it sits there. I won't tell you what the shot is. You got to watch it. It's so funny.
But it's great too because he's been the narrator of the movie. In essence,
he's a constant. He's one of those smaller players that like sort of moves the movie along. And then Molly Shannon's playing with the kid Gideon, like having a therapy session in elementary school arts and crafts class.
Yeah, this like 10-year-old kid is the therapist to this grown woman arts counselor.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so, I love anything where you put children into like adult situations, like John Mulaney's Sack Lunch Bunch. Also very similar humor for that scene. Yeah. Those scenes pair up well.
It's like, Gail, be strong.
Yeah, that's right.
Hand on the shoulder, intense looks and stares. Like, I'm listening. You're heard.
When just role playing with her as well. Molly Shannon, just interrupt, was one that out of my even at the time, my
so
somewhat dismissive attitude of some of like the bigger name like comedy tourists in there. I felt at the time because I just wanted to be the tight knit like obscure actor movie absurdist. I thought even back then I thought Molly Shannon shined in her role.
She's great as Gail.
Yeah, she really is.
This touchy feely arts therapist who's clearly in a bad relationship and just has all this well of emotion just right out in the open, and then these kids just listening to her go through this horrible tale of a relationship. And then you find out later that the guy she's had the relationship with is Judah Friedlander.
Yeah.
Yes. Judah makes an appearance. And then I also like H. John Benjamin having like, this is like it's not common for a voiceover artist to also be like and he doesn't just do voiceovers, but that's his niche. It's like weird to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me. Like we got these famous actors getting their starts, but also this very famous comedian who does voiceovers. Like, how does that small world blossom in all these different directions? And then like, you could even argue that Christopher Maloney, although a comedic view of a Vietnamese Vietnam War vet and whatnot, that could have also translated into his large role in Law and Order.
Yeah, that's few days. Yeah,
stretch.
Yeah, I mean, for those uninitiated, right? Like H. John Benjamin has gone on to voice characters in several Adult Swim animated series. He does the voice of Bob and Bob's Burgers. Mm-hmm. He's the voice on the Arby's commercials.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
But like as the can of mixed vegetables, the moral compass for Gene, the Vietnam vet, just the absurdity of that, the visual sight gag, right, in and of itself, and then just this levity of like his advice of just be honest about who you are, Gene. Right? Just be honest about who you are. No, I mean, Christopher Maloney for me is one of the like absolutely steals every fucking scene he's in. Right, the humping the refrigerator.
Well, just that part, right? In the show when he has that scene,
big speech.
He gives the speech that I think there's is it an American flag? I think it's an American flag behind him.
Unfurls.
Yeah, it's right behind him, and then when he's just being him, and they talk about humping the fridge, and the fridge like gets wheeled out by Gary 80 miles, and then he mounts the fridge, and just even a scene like that is it's great. I mean, it hits the mark. It's a scene that's so easily to screw up and to seem corny and stupid. Yeah, I don't know.
He nailed it.
They're all so. I mean, it's all so corny, right? There's the whole scene where people keep running by the nurse. I don't remember her. I don't remember what actress played the nurse. But there's the nurse, small role. She's sitting on the front porch at like the nurse's station, and people keep running by and asking her questions. And she's knitting. And in the first conversation, there's this very small, it's maybe like a 6-inch long knit. The next person who stops and talks to her, she literally has like this 3-foot. David Hyde Pierce comes, which blanket. And then the next person comes in, she has this king size bedspread that and all of this takes place in the span of like 40 seconds.
Well, the funny thing about the film, which it does without even really, it's just another one of its little gags and bits. Just the concept of time is a joke in this film.
Absolutely.
Like the knitting of the quilt is an example of that, kind of, because it's just person after person. Like, where do I go to get books? And it's the library. Where do I go to get books? The library. But even then, it's like the title cards that show the time. Like, the time doesn't make sense, and characters are in different places at different times, and within 10 minutes later or an hour later, they're here and they're there. And there's always the notorious and hilarious going to town scene.
Yes.
Which I think that's what nails it as, to me. Like, there's no turning back that this is great when they take their trip to town.
Absolutely. That's hands down my favorite montage in the film. There are multiple montages, by the way. But that montage is but just the ramping up of the severity of their vices.
Yeah.
And just that escalation of events. And then the callback once they arrive back at camp. I mean, we're talking. We start with like, "Hey, let's buy some beer."
Yeah.
And then it's like, "Yeah, we're smoking cigarettes." And then it's like, "Let's get some weed."
Yeah, they're buying weed. They're buying beer. They're mugging old ladies.
Let's get some cocaine. Then we're gonna mug an old lady to get money to buy heroin. Let's end up in a fucking flop house. Just. Oh my God. And then they pull back up at camp. It's like, man, it's always great to go into town, even if it's only for an hour.
Yeah, and then they hit you with that joke. The part for the film, and this time I enjoyed it much more. My memory, it's funny how, like, remember going into it is always kind of, even though I like the talent show, always losing a little interest by the talent show. Like, okay, some of the bits drag on for the talent show bit. I don't really care as much about the Skylab piece, and David Hyde Pierce worked with the indoor kids. But this time around, like, watching it, putting it under that evaluative process, like, I loved all the way to the end. I really enjoyed it. Where sometimes I would kind of zone out and like, oh, let's go kind of just chit chat during the talent show portion at the end. I thought it was really fun this time.
Yeah.
I just felt like for a show that jumped around so much, like for a movie that kind of was constantly keeping you on your toes and it came a lot more conventional there at the end. For a film that was so absurd, even though the whole idea was still pretty absurd. You have like the nerd kid with his weird talent show power at the end.
The robot guy?
Yeah, the robot
kid. The guy who claims to not be from Earth?
Yeah. So yeah, that piece. So it's and you have Sky and they're using a 20-sided die to help change the differential of the debris.
They're calculating the standard deviations using a Dungeon Master's die.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's still absurd. Just kind of the way they were playing with it. In the past, I always felt a little more conventional, but this time around, I did not dock any points on that.
It's weird. I don't know how many times I've watched this film. I've watched it at least 10. I still feel like every time I watch it, there's some little nugget that gets unearthed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't catch everything in this film on a first watch. It requires multiple watchings to get all these little embedded jokes. Right? There's these little reference points or just absurd scenes. Hell, the first time I watched it, I didn't know what the callback to Ruth Buzzy multiple times was about.
Mm.
Now I know who Ruth Buzzy was. She was on fucking Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
Mhm.
She was like one of the first women to be a major player, like in a sketch comedy show. And Janine Garofalo refers to herself like, "Hey, I'm not Ruth Buzzy."
Mhm.
And there's a callback to that later on. It's like, "Hey, you're not Ruth Buzzy."
Yeah, that's right.
But just little things. There's that like weird recurring phony glass breaking sound.
Oh
That
yeah,
happens throughout the entire, like it's throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
Just so many little details, just the nuance. I particularly have always been fond of the scenes with the drama club and their preparation for the talent show. Because I was a drama club kid, and that really, it's a very absurdist take on that, but it hits this just the right note for me. It's such a nuanced film. It's such a well balanced film. It's a film that's completely absurd. It takes you to the brink of places where you think it's going to go one way, and then it just turns. It does a 180, right? I can't sing enough praise for this film, and so I'll stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think unless I'm kind of said my piece, I think it's a great. I mean, it is a great. Doesn't matter what I think. It is one of the greats. Don't need to gush about it too much. JB, any kind of
the one scene I just want to, none of us have really dropped it yet. Paul Rudd's cafeteria scene where Janine Garofalo makes him pick up his trash.
Oh, it's
He's like a fucking
So
7-year-old.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's amazing.
It's so well done. That one sticks out to me every time. It's right up there with the fridge and the beekeeper and the closet with Michael Ian Black and Bradley Cooper.
I think Rudd, that character, his Andy character, right? Again, he's on duty as this kid drowns. Like he's on lifeguard duty.
Mm-hmm.
To quote an initial review of this film, right? A couple of scenes are downright disturbing. A child appears to drown while counselors, locked in a passionate clutch, ignore his cries. In another montage, counselors snatch a purse from an old lady and shoot up heroin. What a laugh riot. They fail to acknowledge that he doesn't just let the kid drown. He then takes a swimming buddy, puts him in the van, drives him down the road, and throws him out.
It happens twice.
And that happens in 2 different scenarios where a kid sees something he shouldn't see, and the kid gets discarded. If you read it as a straight thing, which obviously this film is not meant to be read that way, yes, that's abhorrable. As an absurdist comedy trope,
so
hilarious.
Good.
Hilarious.
The raft is just sitting in front of the falls for hours.
Yeah, it's great. That whole thing
go over the falls anytime.
Listen, yeah, and then just the chase scene when he's running and the motorcycle, and it's like, come on, guys.
Lo Truglio on a motorcycle derailed by the smallest hay bale in human history.
Yeah, and the
so good,
and the purposeful like stunt double bad wig.
Purposely shot to show you this is not this character.
It's I mean, listen, if you don't get it, you don't get it, but
it's almost as good as Hot Rod.
Absurd, it's better than Hot Rod.
I don't know. All I know is Wet Hot American Summer is one of the greats. Okay, and with the mentioning of Hot Rod, that is my cue to step in and move this podcast right along. So, Wet Hot American Summer, one of the greats. Typically, this would be the part of the podcast where we move on to our game or bet. For those of you that are newer to the show, at the conclusion of each episode, we do a friendly game that is somehow connected or inspired by the movie that we are talking about for that particular episode. We then take the winner from that game. We earn a point at the end of each game, and that winner is slowly working towards earning enough points to champion a film for a future episode. They're also given a few privileges at the end of the show, including the last word and potentially saving any films that did not get voted for great.
This week is no exception. We did have a game, however, we took the game in a whole new direction, a place we had never gone before. When researching Wet Hot American Summer and thinking about a game we could play, I came across something called Wet Hot American Summer Fantasy Camp, the role-playing adventure game. See, back in 2017 or thereabouts, a group of individuals got together and they created a D&D inspired role-playing game based on the characters and events and world of Wet Hot American Summer. Now, this thing, though done by people not associated with the film at all, David Wayne steps in and writes the introduction for the manual that you get. I know other actors from the state / the movie contributed. Michael Ian Black and others have little pieces mentioned in this booklet. And that's exactly what it is. I was able to retrieve the digital copy. If you go to Amazon.com and search Wet Hot American Summer Fantasy Camp, the Kindle version comes up. You can download it. It's about $8. There are physical copies, but those can be pricey depending on where you get it. As like I said before, this was a Kickstarted item from a few years ago. Devastator Press did put it out, so you can go to their website as well, devastatorpress.com, and possibly get a copy there. They also have additional information and PDFs about the book there. So we downloaded this. I looked at it and I said, this is our game. We're going to do a little role-playing D&D adventure fun for our game, and we'll just figure out a way to get some points added to it and to declare a winner at the end of our round. A couple problems. Number one, none of us are D&D individuals, folks who play D&D regularly. I've been a casual observer over the years, but I've never been an active participant. So I know enough that HP means hit points, but and that DMs are dungeon masters, but that's about it. Same is the case for Gabriel and JB. We also, which you'll hear in a few minutes when we get started, Lee, she steps in to help us. As you know, often she pops in from time to time and helps with our games as just someone to help be a moderator and to keep us all kind of in the unknown when we're playing these games, because that's important. Even though I tend to sort of think up the game and create it, sometimes I need someone to actually help us make it happen without being aware of what the answers are. So that's the role Lee often plays. And her, just like the rest of us, especially her probably, she has never thought she'd be a dungeon master of a D&D inspired game, and that's exactly what she was. She was given a few hours to prepare while we were recording the first half of the podcast, and then she popped in and guided us through that. Speaking of sort of the campaign we took, the book, if you are to order the manual, I guess you can call it that, for the Wet Hot American Summer Fantasy Camp role-playing game, it outlines everything for you, that if you wanted to just set up a campaign and go, it's the place to go. It's a really cool book. Even if you don't do D&D, it's a really cool book just by the way it's set up. And it has the character sheets in there. It has the groundwork, the scaffolding for how the game works. And there are a series of campaigns that you can follow. Obviously, the campaigns are way too long for us to do. That would be designed for you to do it on a regular basis with some friends. We needed it one time for one part of a podcast. And so we looked at it. We saw the basic groundworks there. We took that. There's pre-made character sheets for each counselor, and we took that, and that's where you'll see us begin in a moment, picking our characters. And then Lee took that through some discussions with me. We were inspired by it, and she just kind of came up with a number of scenarios and activities for us to run through as a way to play our game and to earn some points. And that was that. So we don't strictly follow the Wet Hot American Summer Fantasy Camp outlined campaigns, but we are definitely rooted in that. So first we want to say thank you to the creators of this awesome role-playing game, because it gave us something to do and really got us outside of our box working on things, and we even slip into character and try to play our characters. And I'll also apologize for any sort of butchering of their game, as well as we sort of definitely took some liberties on how it was meant to be played, and also are just sort of ignorance in some of the realms of D&D for that. Originally, the game we went on, this was like another hour and a half plus of us playing this fantasy camp game. That's obviously too long for the episode. So our interns trimmed this down for us a bit. A lot of what they trimmed out, most of it, was just us talking about how we were going to play this game. How does this work? What are some of the rules? So that stuff you don't really need. We cut that out and we just stuck it to the game itself and the actual just moving it forward. And that was still a lengthy time to be had. One other little thing to take note, obviously, if you're playing a role-playing game, you're going to need some dice to roll to, your 20-sided die, especially as it's mentioned in the movie. It's obviously in the game. We were doing this remotely. All of us were not in the same room together. And also, for the life of us, none of us had a 20-sided die handy. Luckily, the internet saved us again, and we used an electronic version. Lee, who is also our dungeon master or camp director in this thing, our CD, if you will. She was rolling the dice for us. We were looking at it on the screen. We tried our best to remind the listeners what numbers were being rolled. Occasionally, we're too caught up in the game, and we don't mention the numbers. So, for example, JB might have rolled a 17. I might have rolled a 12, and we don't say those numbers. If that's the case, you can definitely tell if it was a good roll or bad roll simply because of our reactions and how it moves the story along. So I hope you enjoy this. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely something different. And we're going to pick up right now where we are picking our characters. We picked our characters blind, meaning we picked our name, like, oh, I want to be this person, and Gabriel wanted to be that person. But we didn't look at their character sheets. We picked them, and then Lee explains to us and reads from the text what their characteristics are, what their traits are, what their motivations are, what their special powers are, what their items are, all that fun stuff. So we're going to pick up there. And then I'll see you guys at the other side of the game, and we'll see how it all goes. As always, thanks for listening. All we need to know is in the world of D&D, there's HP, your hit points.
That's right.
In this game, it's called Spunk.
All right.
So our
Ew.
I know, right? Listen, they made the game.
Is there no equivalent for MP?
No.
Magic points?
We do have some
Mana
special
points.
powers, but we're gonna, per what your special power is, we're gonna use it. So also the last thing I'll say is we are not following their suggested campaigns, if you will, because in theory this would be an ongoing thing.
Sure.
Would last way too long.
And
Well
so
understood.
we're just doing a quick one day in camp type thing. So Lee,
Is there a way for me to pull up my character sheet?
she's going to read our characters' things. I would recommend write a few things down.
All right. I've got paper.
And then we'll share, because it's on the iPad, but I will share
Roger
when we
that.
get to our special abilities. I will share that on my screen.
Terrific.
Because we will need those.
Okay, so Jesse, when I go through the characters, I just go through their names and you pick it, or do I go through each abilities and then they pick?
No, I think we pick.
You pick before you know the abilities.
Pick blind.
Blind pick.
I think you just pick who you want to be. Yeah.
That's why
Because I don't even know what the abilities do.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah, let's just have the
do it.
list of characters.
Yeah. So the list of characters we're choosing from are Coop,
Okay.
McKinley, Andy, Victor, or Gary.
All right, listen, gentlemen, I'll let.
No Gene? There's no Gene.
Well, listen, we talked about Gene.
We knew you were going to say that.
So if you like,
Actually.
if you like Gene, you go Gary.
No.
No, Gene. We're staying in the realm of the counselors, if you will, since Gene
right.
was a cook.
Fine.
Though Gene does have a character sheet if you get the full thing.
I will be buying the full. This is established. But how do we decide who gets to pick first?
I'm okay. I'm happy with doing. We can do. Anyway, let's listen. You have the highest points of the bets. We'll let you go first, and then we'll just go down. Let's do it that way.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm going
Let's do
Andy.
All right,
You going,
Andy.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell him about Andy, and then we'll
Okay.
do our next person.
So, Andy is 16. He is male. He is a counselor. And his 3 favorite things are wearing shades, Frenching hot chicks, and gurneling, or journaling, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. And so I'm going to go over his lame trait. You're going to want to jot this down. His lame trait is that he is a jerk.
That's well established.
That's going to be
canon.
important.
We'll talk about lame traits in a
Oh,
minute.
We're
man.
going to talk about the point deduction for lame traits in a minute.
All right.
And his rad traits are that he is buff and that he's a charmer. And we'll discuss what that means in a minute as well.
Terrific.
Because we'll need his special moves, right? Is that what they're
Yeah,
called? Okay.
His special moves, yeah. And
Is there anything else you need to know about Andy?
His big camp dream is that this summer he wants to do it with at least 2 hot chicks. At least.
Okay.
Okay.
That seems modest.
And he has 2 special moves. You're going to want to write these down.
Got it.
The first one is that he is cut from marble.
Nice.
That is canon from the film.
Yeah.
And the second one is get lost! Exclamation mark.
Nice.
That is also canon. And I have my character sheet.
Yep. There you go. And I can let you see it. It's right here.
Oh, there it is. If you want to take a
Oh,
peek.
look at that.
I've got it.
Smoldering.
Do you want me to go over the items he holds or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you can just say it. We're not going to use items per
Okay.
se, but you can tell the items.
How
for
many
this.
hit points do I have? I feel like that's more valuable than
What's his spunk?
my spunk.
So you start with 15, right?
15 spunk. Yeah, I'm not sure if
15
people change their spunk levels. So 15
You
spunk.
start with 15 spunk, and he holds shades and a
Nice.
gurnal.
And a girl.
It's sweet.
All right. Listen,
Can I
guess
see it? No.
that's only for me, myself, and I. And also in this, you're free to be in character for any of these things moving forward naturally.
Uh-oh.
That's how it goes, baby.
All right. For the listeners at home, he is flailing about as
The only part of my body I have control over is my torso. The rest of it is just loose, limp noodles. Because that's Andy.
Or Ira, we decided. Ira acts a bit like him.
Yeah.
Every 7-year-old.
Which he
it's
is 7.
Andy and every
Yes,
7-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So JB, I know I'm second, but I've had a little time to mentally prepare for this. If you want, I'll let you pick your character next.
I say we play by the same rules. You got the 2 in there. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have it down to 2 folks I really want. I got to do McKinley.
I knew you were going McKinley.
Listen,
I knew it.
I'm black.
Ian Black.
Ian Black. Come on.
It's a solid low-key character.
It's it's
My
the short.
favorite- one of my top
The
3
shorts.
scenes in the film was like in the first 15 minutes. It's like they're like, oh yeah, some kid got expelled from camp for jerking off, and the management. It's like, we got to get that tape.
Yeah, we got to get that tape.
Okay. You are 18, male.
18,
You prefer
18.
boys.
Mhm.
You're a counselor. Your 3 favorite things are leg-bearing gym shorts,
Naturally, the red ones. Yep.
crate and barrel,
Yeah. Oh,
and
lovely.
compromising VHS tapes.
Hey, look at that. All right. All right.
And your lame trait is that you are also a jerk.
Oh, I'm a little bit of a jerk.
Mm-hmm. And your rad traits are that you're a charmer
I am a charmer.
and you're good weird.
I am the good weird.
Good weird.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
you bet your beeswax.
And your big camp dream is that this summer you're going to come out of the closet,
Mhm.
or rather the sports equipment shed.
And it's true. JB mentioned it.
And your special moves, write this down,
Oh, I'm ready. They relate to charming and good weird. So let's see what it is.
Coming out of the sports equipment closet.
is your special moves. Number 1 is the new way,
Oh, the new way.
and number 2 is beer.
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 Okay.
with an exclamation mark.
That's a solid move.
And
Yeah.
you get to hold a can of beer.
Yeah. All right. That's your beeswax.
And you start with 15 spunk points
It's 15
as well.
funk as well. Okay, got it.
Oh,
Spunk,
man.
spunk, right? Not funk.
No, spunk.
Definitely spunk.
We got the spunk.
One.
And there's your character.
Oh, I love him.
Give up the spunk.
All right, JB. What are you
Thanks,
going
Gabe.
for? You have Victor,
I forgot Victor.
or Coop, or Gary.
I'm going Victor.
I knew
All
it.
right,
I knew it.
Victor.
love a good Jufro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me find them. Hold on.
Oh man.
It's kind of hoping for Neil, but so
I feel like one of your strengths are cut off denim shorts with the pockets hanging below the cutoff.
Okay,
Different socks
Victor.
also.
Victor, you
Whitewater
are
rafting.
17, male. You prefer girls.
Sick.
You're a counselor as well. Your three favorite things: plucking a sweet berry bush, getting your hair just so, and the timeless melodies of Loggins and Messina.
Okay.
Your lame trait is that you're a dummy. Your rad traits are that you're a sweetheart and buff. All right, you're going to want to write these down because we're going to have to refer to them later. So dummy, lame, sweetheart, and buff.
He's got all this in a Google Doc. He's got it in a Google Doc.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm typing.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. And then your big camp dream is that this summer you need to lose your virginity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're yelling, "Wait for me, Abby Bernstein! Wait for me!"
Let's hear it, Victor.
This is canon.
Wait for me, Abby Bernstein. Wait for me.
And write these down. These are your two special moves. You're born to run.
It's true. Of course you are.
Number 2, chewing gum.
Yeah.
He does chew a lot of gum.
Okay. Are you ready?
So are you going to be Beth from this point on?
I'm going to be Beth, and I am introducing our camp theme this year.
All right.
For summer
Terrific.
camp.
Let the games begin.
So, welcome to Camp Firewood. Since 1959, this camp has served as a retreat for young Jewish men and women who dreamt of having the finest summer during which nature is generally tolerated. The land dates back to the Abenaki Native Americans who were given a wonderful, totally fair trade of stolen counterfeit beads in exchange for the acreage where our camp resides today. Camp Firewood was established in cooperation with the Bushkin Foundation to empower the youth of tomorrow to embody the spirit of tomorrow today. Our staff of counselors are loving, thoughtful, and focused entirely on making the best experience for their campers, except for Andy, JJ, and several of the others who only care about getting laid and paid.
Yeah.
But at least they're
That's right.
industrious.
Because Andy's a jerk.
Generations of campers have come to Camp Firewood to find their ability to soar, mostly indoors due to rain and bee phobias. And now it's your turn. All right, so are you ready for your first task of the day?
Whatever.
Counselors.
Yeah, can you hurry up? Because, I got somewhere to be. I just got somewhere to be at 11.
Okay,
Whatever, man.
here's your first task. You are each in charge of a bunk. You need to get your kids out of the bed and to breakfast by 7 a.m. To successfully complete this task, you need to roll a 5 or higher, and you will get 3. This is for 3 plus or minus spunk points.
Oh, okay.
If you roll a 5 or higher to get your kids successfully
Whatever, man.
by 7 a.m.
Get lost.
How do we know who goes first? Same order every time?
Yeah, we'll go in that order.
All right, Andy. Pull it together. Time for you to go. Get your kids to breakfast. This is your... You did it. Very good.
Nice.
McKinley, Are you going to get your kids to breakfast?
Yeah, come on, guys, let's go. All right, guys, get out of the radio room. Let's do this. Oh, guys.
You did it.
Well, no, I rolled a 6, but I have a handicap at 2, so I got a 4.
I forgot about the handicap. Yes, you're right.
So we're gonna be. What
You
happened?
did.
Are we late?
So you're late.
So I couldn't get what's his face off the
You're
radio.
15 minutes late. You do not get the points. You failed at your task.
So that puts me down to 12 spunk points.
Yes,
Lame
I'm
ass
keeping track.
McKinley.
We
You
gotta
keep track, but I'm keeping track
we
as well.
just let us know as well as
The beekeeper's your fucking downfall, bro.
the beekeeper. It's like that beekeeper we got
All right,
there.
Victor, are you
He
getting your
wouldn't-
kids to breakfast?
He wouldn't
Yeah,
start.
they're getting up. They're getting up.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Rolled a 20.
Yes, he's definitely our most efficient counselor. Good job, Victor. All right.
Coming for you, Abby Bernstein.
Okay. Your task is to take the kids swimming.
Totally
And-
good at this.
So you have to roll a 6 or higher to complete the task.
I got this. Whatever.
All right. Take the kids swimming.
Or a 7, right?
Stop.
This handicap.
6 or higher. Oh, yeah. Or a
That
7.
you stopped later than I asked you to stop, Beth. I mean, there was really like this is your fault that this kid drowned.
So this was for 2 spunk points, unfortunately, Andy. So this failed. But Andy, your situation has just escalated. Because you failed,
Oh, shit.
a child is drowning.
I already know this. He fucking drowned.
So now, since you lost the first round, it is going to be harder for you to save this child. So you have to roll a 12. You have to roll a 12 or higher, and this is for 4 spunk points.
Stop.
Oh, so your handicap is 1.
Nicely
Nice
done.
one.
Excellent.
You rolled a
So I
20.
regained 3
3.
after my loss of 2 because
That's
I
right.
ditched that kid on the side of the road.
It's topical.
Good job. All right. So our next person is McKinley.
Put my shades on.
Hey.
McKinley, your
Yeah,
task
hey.
is you got to get that kid a bath. He hasn't bathed all camp. You
Listen,
really
I've been
need to get that
asking
kid
him.
a
He
bath.
told me this morning, for reals, no games. He said he was going to bathe.
You
So
got to
we're
roll a
good.
6 or higher to complete this task.
Listen, he's been here all camp. He hasn't bathed yet. All right. So listen,
That's
we
for
grabbed him.
2
We
spunk
grab
points.
him. I got me and Ben. We're getting him in that shower together. We got him.
Okay. Now your situation has just escalated.
What do you mean? What's going on? He's showering. He's getting cleaned up. What's going on?
The kid has a rash and bacteria all
Oh.
over his body from
Oh.
not
So
showering.
what am
the
I
whole
gonna do?
time. So you have to take care of it.
All
But
right. So
since
here's
you
what.
won the first one, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. So you have to roll an 8 or higher to take
So remember,
care of
we-
this
yeah.
rash.
So remember, we got to figure out how we're going to solve this problem.
Count
I
my
don't know.
emotion, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the infirmary. We're going to check it out. It's a mess. Looks like somebody ransacked the place looking for the phone. But listen, we're going to get some of that calamine. We're going to rub it on.
All over.
And listen,
It's
we're
everywhere.
going to put some baby powder. We're going to pat him over. He's going to be good.
Okay.
Ben's going to help me take care of it. All right.
17. Wow.
And we got it. So
You got
17.
that.
what does that pop me with spunk?
Okay, so you have, let's see.
It's time to get spunky.
Okay, you have 21 minus
Spunky.
3. You have 18 altogether now. So you have 15 minus 3 plus 6.
All right.
Whoa.
Andy has 15 plus 3 minus 2 plus 4.
So 20.
Yes.
All right. And none of us have had to use our special powers yet. I'm feeling good.
Not
Uh-oh.
yet. Not yet. All right, Victor. Victor,
Yeah?
your task is you need to get, I promised that you would take those kids down to the river. You need to take those kids down to the river.
Beth.
So in
Beth,
order to
now?
do this, you need to,
Yeah, don't worry. Don't
Now.
worry. I saw
Right now.
Andy. I saw Andy hanging out with Abby. It's cool.
Oh, Beth.
Okay, you got to roll a 6 or higher to complete this task.
No, really a 8, right? Because it's handicapped.
Oh,
that's true.
no.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh.
Beth. I saw you didn't leave on time because I saw him making out
Beth.
on the side of the
Beth.
van.
Beth,
I
no, that
just
didn't
saw him jump
happen.
out of the driver's side of the van and
Beth, this was supposed to be my
Wow.
summer.
Running.
What am I supposed to tell the boys back home?
Your situation has definitely just escalated, Victor, because you did leave the kids and you run off the road and smashed into a tree. So I don't know how you're going to get out of this situation. You're going to have to come
What are
up
you
with
gonna
a
do, bro?
solution.
What are you gonna do, man?
you
I'm just gonna
them
run.
Stocks?
I'm just
You
gonna
gonna
run.
run them Birkenstocks?
Yep, I'm gonna run in my Birkenstocks. I was born to run. I'm not using my special move, but I was born to run.
All right, so
Doing
you
it.
have to roll a 12 or higher because you lost the first round. So
You
let's-
may want to use your special skills, bro.
You think I should?
Beth, how many rounds do we got of this? Just so we know where we're going to use our special. We're doing 5, is that right?
We're on the second round. We have 5 rounds.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, just make sure.
Man, you know what?
So your special move is
Chewing
at
gum
least
or
an
run?
attempt to escape,
Yeah.
You know what?
or you can chew gum. You can chew gum. Because this is somewhat sexual because you're trying to get to a person so that you can go all the way for the first time.
All right, all right.
Okay.
You know what? Fine. I'm persuaded. I'll chew some gum.
Okay.
So
chew
what does
some
the gum do?
It gives him 2
It freshens my
points.
breath.
2 spunk points. So does he still roll?
Does it give him 2 spunk points or 2 extra points or 2 bonus?
2 on my
plus
roll
2
or 2 spunk?
2. Oh, is it 2 more points at the end, or is it just 2 points in general?
I thought it said 2 points on his roll.
Mm.
I got.
On to any roll.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
2
Okay.
points to any roll. Okay, so he has to get a 12 or higher.
I'm coming for you, Abby.
So it cancels out his handicap.
Come on, Abby. No.
Cancels
No,
out his
Abby.
handicap. Yes.
Abby. She's
Listen,
probably
I-
making out with some other guy. It's probably JJ.
Oh.
Thought it was
Say
Gary.
it with desperation, sir.
Wait for me, Abby Bernstein. Wait for me.
You're missing out on the sex.
Oh, this is going to be my
It's just
summer.
the weird, sloppy Hep C making out.
Yeah.
See?
Snooze, you lose.
Am I making out? Am I making out?
Okay.
That's out on the mild STDs and when you snooze.
True. That's true.
Good
Okay.
rap trip.
Round 3, counselors. I have to run to town.
All
I want
right.
to see who wants to come.
I love going
Let's
to
go.
town.
Or if you come, you will be given a task that's worth plus or minus 5 spunk points.
Oof.
So, Andy, what do you choose?
I'm going to town, baby.
You're going to town. Okay. Your task.
Well, I think we all got to go to town first, right?
Oh, okay.
We have to make a
sorry.
decision, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
you got to make a decision. Sorry.
All
All
right.
right. He's going to town.
Simulcast.
So, Andy's going to town. And McKinley, what are you doing?
What are you doing, McKinley?
I always go to town.
You're going
You
to
know
town.
what? Before I go to town, can I drink this beer real quick? I just want to pop this beer to get ready for town. Get some
just
plus
drink
fives.
it.
What a
Get some plus
tool.
5 spunk.
Oh wait,
You're
you
gonna need it.
you
You're
use
gonna need
your
it.
special skills to drink
Yeah.
a beer?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
drink a beer. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
give 'em a
just
5 spunk.
randomly get plus 5. Okay.
It's a special power.
Got
Is
it.
that too? You get plus 5 to spunk,
It's that plus
Mhm.
5 spunk, guys.
Plus 5 spunk.
Spunky
not
guy.
to your roll.
Yep,
Not to
spunk.
the roll.
Just
Damn.
in general.
Damn,
Man,
I'm feeling
Beer is
good.
powerful.
Andy's feeling a little less spunky.
man, McKinley, you're
You're such a jerk, McKinley.
What can I say? I like these shorts, guys.
I really need to get you guys a wedding gift.
I like Crate and Barrel.
I can't afford to buy a Barrel, so I'm going to buy a CB2.
I'll take CB2.
Okay, Victor.
about,
are you coming to town with us, Victor? Make a
it's-
decision. Make a decision.
Victor looks like he's been running for a while.
He's very sweaty.
Are you
Yeah.
going to town
Very
with us, buddy?
sweaty.
Yeah,
Come to town with us, buddy.
Yeah, I'll
Come
go
to
to
town with us,
town.
buddy.
Pressure.
I'll go to town.
No peer pressure.
Let me
Okay.
fix
All
my
right,
hair.
Liz.
Let me fix my hair.
All right,
All right.
let's hop in the truck, guys.
Okay, now here's how this works. I'm going to give you a task, and you're going to roll the die. If you get this task is going to go well for you. If you get an odd number, this task is not going to go so well for you. And then there's a second part to the rolls. Andy, here's what I need you to do when we get into town. I need you to mug Grandma because we need some money.
Oh, I got that.
Okay. And McKinley, this is
Yeah.
what I need you to do. I need
All
you
right.
to score some drugs for us.
I'm really good at it.
Just
So I
while we're
got
in
that.
town.
That's
I got
such
that.
a good
I got
task.
I got it.
And Victor,
What's
I
Victor
need
doing?
you to buy some beer.
Ah,
Can you buy some beer?
All right.
I know you're only like 17
just-
or something, but I need you to buy some beer.
I just drank a beer.
I know. Well, he drank all the beer, so we need more.
Beth, can't I just
Why is
can't I
this
just
crime
mug
the
someone?
least offensive crime?
Hey, they're all laws for
I mean
breaking.
task. I didn't mean crime. I meant task.
Task. This is just for the betterment of us, of your counselors, so that you come back refreshed and you had a little break from the
All
kids.
right,
Right,
we only
mug
got
old ladies.
we only got an hour.
All
Got it.
right, okay.
Chicks
Okay,
love beer.
Andy, this is your role. You're looking for an even number, so
Who's
your
this?
task goes well. This is Andy.
Beth? Oh, Andy. All right, Andy. All right.
Stop.
Ooh, odd. Oh man, Beth. What does odd mean, Beth?
Odd means this isn't going to go so well. So we're going to roll it
Wait,
again.
what about my lame? My lame takes that down to 16.
It does. Yeah. The lame takes it down to 16, but you still, oh, yeah.
That's a
So
CD.
that would be even. What
That's
do
a
you think?
That's right.
That's the CD's decision. If the lane.
I get to throw my. What if I throw my shades on while I'm doing it?
Mhm.
Beth, don't
Even
listen to
or
him.
odd.
He's a charmer. He's a charmer.
Hey, man. I mean, I'm just doing what I was here to do.
Okay, we'll
I
go
got-
with that because we said every roll we'll go with
Okay.
putting the lame points in there.
I think the-
Okay,
all right.
so what?
No,
What?
no, you're the CD. Remember, this was meant to be like a coin toss.
Okay. Oh, the first round was meant to be a coin toss. Yes, it is. And then the second round is adding up the points.
But you're
So
the
you're
CD.
saying we should just go odd or even?
I'm saying CD is no easy task.
What do
so
you want,
it's-
18-year-old?
It's your call, Beth. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's Beth's call.
think about what next summer could offer you.
All right, well, I already decided.
Are you hitting
so
on the
we'll
camp
just put the
director?
lame points with any roll. So your second roll, so you got 16. So this task is going to go well for you. You have to roll between a 1 and a 14 to get the 5 spunk points.
No, but what is Andy doing again?
I
He's
robbed an
mugging
old lady. I
grandma.
mugged an old
Oh,
lady.
you're mugging a grandma, man.
But I
He's
got
mugging
now. I got
grandma.
it. Now I have to make sure she has money in her purse.
Because I need that money to do my task.
I've got her purse.
Andy,
I gotta
go.
get that.
Ooh, you got it. Technically you got a 13. Right. So
Okay.
you got it.
All right, we got the
Got it.
cash. I got the
Okay.
cash. Beth, I'm going. How hard
Let's
is this
go
going to
buy
be?
some cocaine,
Plus
baby.
5.
I'm going around the corner.
Okay, so we need to score some drugs, McKinley. Let's see
I'm
how
in
you
it.
do.
Let's go. Andy gave me the cash.
-2.
I'm going.
Okay, so you got 12. You
I got 12.
even too.
Okay,
This
okay,
goes well.
okay,
We're
I
gonna
got a
get
12.
the drugs. But now, in order to complete your task, you have to get between a 1 and 14.
I can do that. I can do that.
You did it.
Okay,
Very
okay,
good.
okay.
Way to go, McKinley.
I'll try. I got
Super
it.
happy
I
about
got
these
it.
drugs.
All right, I got it.
And
Yes.
Andy, let's
So
see.
I got the 5 spunk for that?
Yep. You
Oh,
got
man.
the 5 spunk for that. 15, 14, 13. So 13. This is going to go bad for you.
Oh my
It's gonna
God.
go bad for you.
Victor is having
Oh.
trouble getting the
We're
beer.
not going to get beer.
I coulda-
but
Victor.
I could have mugged an old lady. I could have
you
done that.
have to roll. You have to roll between a 15 and a 20.
Why don't you have the 18-year-old buy the beer? He loves
That would be a
beer.
good
He
idea.
holds
Yes.
beer. I'm the
All right,
gum
let's
guy.
see.
Victor, you look like you're 36 years old.
Oh, that's not good.
Beth, you're killing me. You're
I'm
killing
sorry.
me. I should have.
Technically,
Not
Victor
good.
rolled like a negative number because of his
Yeah.
handicap. Victor, I think
Negative
Victor
4.
might.
Negative 4.
Andy,
No,
Beth, I
negative
think
I'm never gonna
1.
get laid.
It's Victor. Andy's sitting pretty over here. I'm good.
I think
never
Victor
gonna
might
get
get
laid.
arrested.
You might get arrested.
I got
He's
my
gonna
shades
get
on.
arrested. Once you get in jail,
Oh,
it's gonna be bad for a virgin in jail.
Well, listen.
Beth, how do you know this?
Hmm.
What kind of camp are you running?
I saw Neil talking to him.
All
Not
right.
Neil.
I mean, Gene had a lot to say about how prison works.
That's right.
That's true.
That's true.
So Beth,
That is
what are our
true.
spunk points?
Okay, so far, I gotta add. I gotta do math. Hold on.
I know mine's not good.
Oh, Victor.
I should have
28.
25.
I think you have 28, McKinley.
Feels
Andy,
right.
You
Feels
have
right.
24. Yep, you have 25. And
All
How do
right,
you have
Andy.
28?
Because I drink that beer, bro.
the beer. Victor has.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
Oh, it's
Victor.
bad.
What does Abby have?
Abby has another guy, man. I saw it.
Lindsay?
Okay.
You think Lindsay's
Victor
still
has
available?
7.
Listen, I don't know.
7?
That's all.
7.
There's 7
Seven.
spunk points, Victor. Victor, your spunk is so low.
I mean, you could turn
Just saying.
around. It could turn around. It could turn around.
That really sounds accurate.
Nice guys
Yeah.
finished last.
Well,
That's all I'm
true.
hearing.
Sometimes.
That's what the
sometimes,
incels say.
Sometimes.
Dark.
Okay, we're on round 4. It is talent show time, guys. I need your best. Okay. The,
did you hear the talent show?
the talent show is happening, and you are helping the inside kids.
What are they doing?
You need to pull it off without a hitch.
What's going on with the indoor kids?
So
Beth.
all
What happened to your
these
science
kids.
boyfriend?
Yeah,
they
Beth.
are. What are they doing? They need some help. They need some help. They
I
can't
mean-
sing. Everybody sounds terrible.
We know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Skylab, the thing they're all worried about crashing on the camp.
Cape
Right.
Kids?
Yeah.
Is this
the
Cape
Skylab
Kid?
might
I
be
don't
crashing
wanna
on the
help.
camp.
If we have to
Cool,
help the indoor
whatever, Beth.
kids, we'll help
You
the
got
indoor
it.
kids. What are we doing?
Are they the indoor or the inside?
They're the
Inside.
they're
The
the-
inside,
whatever.
the inside
Whatever.
kids.
Whatever, man.
Listen, all I know is like the beekeeper, they smell.
They,
So-
well,
dude,
that's not
They're
nice.
such jerks.
We need to help them. We got to pull this off. This talent show is really important to camp. So, all 3 of you, I
Yeah,
need you.
suck a D.
All
We're
right,
going to
listen.
roll the die at the same time.
All right.
And you're going to write down the number that you get. I'm going to assign you a die. And
Okay.
you're going to write down the number that you get. Now, after you see that number, we're going to roll it over and over again until you get the same number again.
Oh,
So whoever
yeah.
lasts the longest gets 4 spunk points.
Beth, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
Whoever
Despite
comes
how
in
smart
second,
I look, I am
no
not
idea what I'm talking
that smart.
about. Okay. Let's just roll the die first. How about that?
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So
McKinley.
wait, who's who?
Do you think the
Sorry.
kids know logins in Messina?
So top left
Mhm.
is Andy. Top right is McKinley. Bottom is Victor.
These are 3 dice on the Google machine.
Yeah, so
That's right.
listeners, we're gonna roll all the 20-sided die at the same time. We're trying to stop Skylab.
What is simulcast, man?
From
Whatever.
crashing.
I don't know.
So we're trying to change the path of it by getting some randomly generated numbers. All right, so I'm the
I'm
4 here.
rolling.
All
How
right.
does Skylab
Okay.
even work?
Oh, wait, I'm out.
Okay. Andy gets 19. What do you mean you're out?
I'm out. It's
No.
just it's rolling doubles
This
until
is
you
our
roll.
first roll.
Oh, that was our first roll. Oh, I
This
got
is
you. I
our
got you.
first roll. We're writing the number down now.
Okay, 19.
So Jesse, you have 4.
There's no Jesse, only McKinley.
Sorry, McKinley
McKinley
has
has
4.
4.
Victor has 2, and Andy has 19. Now I am going to continue rolling them until
gotcha.
your number pops up again. Whoever lasts the longest gets the most spunk points, gets 4. Whoever lasts is in second place gets 2 spunk points, and whoever is last gets 1 spot. Okay, so look for your number as I roll, so I don't have to keep track of
Got it.
I got it. I'm keeping track of it.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh,
you're
I'm out.
Oh,
Back.
Victor.
so Andy's on the left
All right,
and
so that's
Jesse's
one-
on the right. I did not plan that, Victor. I
McKinley's on
promise.
the right.
Andy McKinley.
McKinley. I don't know who
19
this
and
Jesse
2.
is.
We're looking for 19 and 2. McKinley.
Never counseled here at this
I'm
camp.
gonna go hang out with Abby.
All right, 15 and 14. We got to say our things for our people. 7
and 15.
15. No repeats yet. I like it. Come on, lucky
Wow.
roll.
Ooh, you're
Two and
out.
Who's out?
Oh, nope.
You, bro.
Sorry.
McKinley,
No,
you're done.
No,
No,
nobody's
he had
out.
4. He had a 4, not a 2.
Oh,
Listen,
looking up
listen, I know how to
Victor.
roll a dice, Andy.
Whatever, bro.
What are you saying, McKinley?
5
Whatever.
and 8. 8 and 5. We're still good. 14 and 7.
Wow.
Oh, man, we're doing each other's numbers. This is good, bro.
Ooh.
3. There goes Andy.
Goes Andy. There goes.
No, we both are out on that one.
No. You're
I'm
out.
19.
McKinley is out. All right. So Andy got 4. McKinley got 2.
Lay it on me, Beth.
And Victor got 1. 1 point.
Man, you're
All
back
right.
up to 8, Victor.
Okay.
Think Abby will
This is
still
the
sleep with
final
me?
round. So as you go to sleep tonight, you hope you'll end your
Who
last
sleeps?
day at camp with your secret crush.
Please be Abby.
So if you win this round, you do end up with your secret crush. If you don't win this round, you don't end up with your secret crush.
I feel like I've already won because I already have my secret crush as my soulmate in a wonderful union.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to. But here's the thing. It can't be that simple, right? You have to pick the number that you think you're going to roll on a 10-sided die. And you have to wager as many spunk points on the line as you wish.
So what are our spunk points for the listeners and for ourselves?
Okay, so McKinley has 30.
Oh, God.
Victor has 8. And Andy has 29.
Ooh.
Wow. I'm coming back.
Okay. So we can wager as many of our spunk points as we want.
You can wager as many as you want, but you have to guess the number that you'll roll.
I would like to use my buff points.
Your buff points. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I would like to use my get lost points on McKinley.
What does that happen to McKinley? What does it do to
That's
McKinley?
a -3 to your roll.
-3
Oh, okay.
to your roll.
Oh,
Okay, McKinley.
Can I use multiple special moves in the same turn?
I guess you can use your special moves before the game is up.
I mean, I would like to use my cut from Marble special move because I feel like this is dating oriented.
Related to
It
dating.
is.
It is related
McKinley
to
is.
dating. Okay, so you
Feel strong about that.
get a +2. So you're at 31.
I just want to go +2 and -3.
no, that's a plus on the roll, not
That's
on
the
the
roll.
spunk.
That is on a roll. That's
On a
correct.
roll.
That's not on.
On a roll. I'm writing that down.
That's not on a spunk. Not on
Okay.
spunk points.
All right, and camp director, I'm assuming because I'm just trying to play my number here because you have to do some crazy guessing here. Our handicaps, our lame traits are still in effect.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm working at a negative. McKinley's working at a -4 here, guys, on my roll.
That's correct.
Mm.
Yes.
No, -5.
-5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
you're right. -5.
-3, and you're wrote
-5.
You know,
-2.
Andy can surprise you sometimes with his.
And you're
attention to
working
detail.
at a +1 then, Andy.
I'm not even going to try and do the math.
Victor,
That's
you're working at a -2.
You are working at a disadvantage that is too overwhelming to overcome. Which it falls in line with it. That falls in line with fucking canon.
It does. We've this game is proved true.
I
So
don't even know what you're talking about. I've slept with plenty of women during the summer.
camp directors, since this feels like kind of a final Jeopardy, we're closing our eyes at night. Should we write
Write your
our number
down.
and our wager
Down.
and share it?
Yes,
'Cause
all
I
at
think-
the same time. 1 point.
And so we're picking the number that not getting our handicap, our special powers. We'll do that math afterwards. We're just saying this is my number,
That I'm gonna roll.
and then we'll adjust. You still got to land on that number after your adjustments have been made.
Understood.
Remember to use your Sharpies.
And you can use
We're using a 20-sided die to project this number.
10.
a 10.
10.
10.
Oh, that changes the game.
Yeah, it changes it. And in reality, like listeners, wow, now we're at the bet. And in reality, we got our spunk points on the line. McKinley has 30, Andy 29, Victor 8.
But if they risk all their spunk points, Victor, you could win. You never know. It's like Final Jeopardy.
And I do have a question, Camp Director.
Yes. I'll try
Um,
to answer it.
Are we required? What is our? Are we have to put spunk points on the line?
Yes. You mean what's the minimum?
Yeah. What's the minimum?
Don't be lame, McKinley.
I'm McKinley. Listen, McKinley's just asking for a friend.
I would say you have to at least put 1 spunk
Okay.
point on the
Okay.
line
Okay.
for sure.
What a tool.
And then you're guessing the differential between your guess of what you'll roll and what you actually roll.
I know. Yeah. But then also, I stand to gain or lose whatever I roll. Versus.
Plus
So
the
the
spunk
roll
point.
is the roll, not taking in consideration the lame points, right?
Well, we guess our number, and then we're adding. I get a whatever. I have to subtract 5 from my number.
And that's your number that you're.
Yeah,
Okay.
which also limits what I can. Andy has to add 1 to what he rolls,
Yes.
but then
okay.
that needs to be his number.
His number. Okay. So
Oh.
with the plus or minus, that's the number.
Yeah.
Yeah. Write down how many spunk points you're going to wager.
How much you believe in your fate.
How much you wagering, McKinley?
McKinley's thinking this beer that I drank is sort of, town wore me out.
It must be nice to be drinking beer right now.
All right, I got it.
McKinley,
McKinley's in.
All right.
So we're going to share our bets, share our wagers.
These are tight times.
I'm going to write
Okay.
them down.
What are our wagers?
All right,
All right.
I'm putting up. We'll start with Victor. Victor, what's your number?
Number is 4.
Eight.
Okay.
Your number's 4 and you're wagering all your points.
All the spunk.
Might as well. I like that. You might as
All
well.
Andy's
Thanks,
in second,
Dad.
so we'll let him go.
Just trying to pluck the sweet berry bush.
I'm going with 3 and 3. 3 spunk points.
Ooh. So you got to
Okay.
land on a 3 for 3 spunk points.
That's right.
You have to
All right,
land on a 2.
Or get the 3
No.
from the
He
plus
has
minus.
to land on a.
On a 2 to get
Well, he
3.
technically has to land on a 2. Yeah.
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 I'm going for my final number as a 4.
Okay.
So that means I have to land on a 9. Am I
Mhm.
correct in that
Yes.
thinking?
Yes.
And I put up, because I got to be somewhere in 10 years at 11, I put 11
11.
spunk points on the line.
You just got to show up at 9:30, bro.
Listen,
9:30.
then you make it your beeswax to be there at 9:30.
That's right.
You've already canceled twice, McKinley.
I know. I can't
All right.
reschedule. I just got to
You can't
think. I
reschedule.
got to think.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
I say let's start from Victor up, right?
Victor up. Okay.
Get it over with. Great summer. Love it.
He has to get a 6.
You have to get a
Yes.
6 to land on your
Yeah.
4. All right.
Okay, ready? Let's go.
I'm just.
Oh! Victor, something went well for you today. You're at 16 spunk points.
16.
Man, that hardcore run you made in those Birkenstocks really paid off.
Look, I'm not just
Wow,
muscles.
That was good.
I'm also muscles.
Okay, and now we are at
Andy.
who are we at? Andy. Andy, you need to get a
I think it's a 2.
2. Sorry, I'm not doing well with math right now.
But a
Same.
score above a 2, is that beneficial or
No,
bad?
this is just like
This is just got to get the number.
So that what that means is, Victor, you did it. You scored.
You scored.
Abby,
Thanks, Bernstein.
thanks for waiting.
Victor.
Yeah,
You
you got
crushed
with
it.
your secret crush. Congratulations.
Well,
I don't know. I'm gonna fucking land on a 2, but sure, whatever.
Aren't even.
Alright.
Victor did it.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I've slept with plenty of women.
And you're first.
It's a 3.
I didn't call anything. What did I do?
I'm sorry.
I had no say in this.
I just rolled it.
The CD rolled.
All right, it's just a 3.
Expect Andy to really end with this. Seriously, guys, with this
No.
soulmate.
No, it's not going to happen.
So that brings him
So,
Yeah, but
at 26 spunk.
His motorcycle's his
no,
soulmate.
I was at 29.
you're at 29, so you wagered 3 spunk points. So now you're at 26. 26 spunk points.
All right, McKinley,
All right, now you have to roll a 9, McKinley.
and I'll get 11 spunk points.
All right.
You'd
So I
like
have
that.
to. See, I couldn't tell if Andy.
It goes fast. This 10-sided dice rolls really fast.
It's
The
all right. I rolled a
frictions
6.
reduce.
All right, so you lost.
That brings me
11.
to. Yeah, Ben and I guess,
You
broke
have
up.
19.
19 spunk.
Wow.
19 spunk. So our winner,
It's
hold
Andy.
on. Our winner is Andy. Good job,
Congrats.
Andy.
Congratulations, Andy.
Wow.
We're going to see you back here in 10 years.
I won the
All
hardest
right.
round.
You
And
did.
I still
You-
lost.
You,
Thanks for
almost
good
came
summer
back,
camp
Victor.
counselors.
Lee, thank you guys.
Beth, thank
Beth?
you. Beth, thank you so much for
Beth.
your leadership through this
welcome.
entire questionable
You're
period of our
welcome.
lives.
Yeah, and
It was my pleasure to.
A lot of exploration,
Awesome.
a lot
Come
of
along.
questions, a lot of things that just, didn't work out the way we thought it would.
A big ol' l'chaim to you.
Yeah.
Line, steady hands.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your dedication to camp firewood.
campfire.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That is the
Mhm.
camp.
That is it.
I might head over to Camp Tiger Claw after this upsetting loss. Again, that was a crazy. It might be another while before we role play again. But hey, listen. This podcast is about personal growth, personal exploration, and I think we did a little bit of that today. And it's also about bad acting. So,
If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm at the threshold.
yes, and that's what I was bringing up to wrap this show up. We're gonna close this thing out, but something huge and monumental happened. Gabriel will be our first champion. Listeners, what that means is at either our next podcast or within a podcast following that, we'll give him some time if needed. He will prepare a film that he's already declaring a great. His task will be to convince at least one of us. The format will be slightly different in the fact that he will almost, in a way, be presenting an argument, a brief presentation, if you will, to us, the other anointed ones, to try to at least sway. We'll watch. We'll have our own opinions.
Yes.
But he will have to flex his persuasive muscles because he could pick an easy pick. He could pick a long shot. We don't know. But stay tuned for the first champion episode. He won 4 rounds. Yes, yeah. Congratulations. JB's giving him some applause.
It's really the luck of the 20-side die.
I love that it's when this game, that's why this one really, there was a bet at the end, so we brought it back to the bet for our role-playing adventure here. I do want to thank the makers of the Wet Hot American Summer Fantasy Camp role-playing game. I also want to ask their forgiveness for the butchering we did of it. But we had to try to modify this one. They're free to come on at any time and lead us through a campaign. We welcome that.
I mean, hell, I feel like at this point, is this a side podcast?
It might be. Listen, any of our longtime listeners knows there's numerous podcasts within podcasts, side podcasts, parallel universe podcasts.
They're free to mail us over to the Sandusky address,
The
corporate.
Sandusky offices, corporate
always.
Sandusky, always an option.
Look,
Same
Write
thing.
your letters there.
our referrals
All right.
team will handle it.
I mean, send emails. Send emails as well. They're
Great. Yeah.
less frequently than the physical mail.
But in the meantime, let's close this thing out. So Gabriel, you're also, since you won the bet, you do still get the final word to wrap this thing up. We will stop talking. You can speak to anything we've talked about as Gabriel, as Andy, in any which way you would like to be. But that's it. It's all yours.
Uh-oh.
And this world's a challenging fucking place to live in right now. Best I have is do what you can do, affect what you can affect, have fun when you can have fun, treat yourself well, be good and kind to yourself, but be good and kind to your fucking neighbors. Just live your life and acknowledge that other people get to live their own lives too. Watch ridiculous movies like Wet Hot American Summer. Find joy in the little things and take breaks when you need to. All this shit is heavy. Do what you can do. That's all I got for you guys.
All right. Well, thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, JB. And good night, everybody, and stay safe.
Night, McKinley. Good night, Andy.